The people who complete a plan, who actually write a plan and then follow it, see the best results over time, not just in their business, but also harmonizing with their lifestyle. And Kevin McCarthy, who's one of our awesome agents, he had said to me that the last 2 years have been so great for him because business has been tough in Austin, but having a business plan that's aligned with his life has helped him also achieve some really great life goals over the past few years.
Welcome back to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. Matt Bonelli is with me this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Garrett Fry.
Well, we are jumping into a new episode with all of you, but I want to start things off with, if you don't have your business plan in hand right now, we have so many people still joining us right now. I know as we're recording this right now, we're over halfway through business planning on our live series right now. But the beauty to all of you is they're all recorded. We have them all recorded. The system is all there. And if you're coming into it a little bit later than the live sessions, you get to go through it at your own pace, work through the sessions. You haven't missed anything. So we want to encourage, if you need business planning, come check us out. 10tenths.co. You can find everything you need. You can also go to, that's where you should go to. Let's just keep it as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this too. Since we've gone through and now you have access to the on-demand business planning, we do have a very special offer for you, which is if you go through our on-demand business planning workshop, you complete your business plan and you send it to us, you will be able to join us for our quarterly calibration masterminds that we're going to be hosting throughout the year. And that is all part of just doing the business plan. That is our gift to you for completing a business plan. And you get to join us for those quarterly calibrations so that you can keep your plan in action throughout 2026. So definitely go check that out. It's going to be absolutely worth your while.
I'm excited that we're offering this, Matt, because at the end of the day, the biggest downfall that we watch with business plans is not that people don't make them. It's that they make them and they never look at them again.
I know.
And what we found inside of the 11 circle, what we build with our group coaching is that we quarterly, we bring and we refocus, we settle ourselves down on where we're at, where we're going, how are things working. But we haven't done it as a bigger mastermind like this. And this is what I think is going to be really fun, is to bring these people together who have done their business plans, who are committed to it, who want to show up at a higher level with it. It's going to be a great group. I'm excited to see this as we start doing these live.
And you only get in if you complete your business plan and submit it to us. And that's across the board. So there won't be anybody in there who has not done a business plan. And you'll get the idea. You're like, oh my gosh, well, what goes into a business plan? Well, you'll see that when you join and go through our workshop, and you're going to do all the worksheets and everything. But the actual business plan gets boiled down into 1-2 sheets that we have information on that we can help guide you. And that's going to be what these masterminds are about, is connection, accountability, brainstorming, workshopping, so that you can make sure that you stay on pace. Because Garrett, we've experienced this with just doing one-on-one coaching for so many years, which is the people who complete a plan, who actually write a plan and then follow it, see the best results over time, not just in their business, but also harmonizing with their lifestyle. And Kevin McCarthy, who's one of our awesome agents, he had said to me that the last 2 years have been so great for him because business has been tough in Austin, but having a business plan that's aligned with his life has helped him also achieve some really great life goals over the past few years. And all the while he's been operating and running a renovation inside his home and everything. And he's still been able to achieve and maintain a good level of income that a lot of other agents in the Austin area are like, gosh, I wish I had that. So really awesome that people are getting that type of kind of outcome with running these plans, Garrett. And it's just so fun to see.
Well, again, it's not surprising. I mean, you have a plan, you follow it. It's much better than what was the running a calendar that it works the same way.
Yeah, if you're not running the calendar according to your schedule, it just becomes chaos with timestamps.
Oh, such a great line. Oh,
Sarah brought that up, by the way. Sarah said she heard that somewhere and introduced it to Garrett and I yesterday when we were talking. I was like, oh, I'm using that in today's business planning session.
chaos with timestamps. And I think that that's when you don't have a plan and you're not executing a plan and you're not clear on why you're following that plan. That can very much be the description of a lot of people's businesses out here.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why they're burnt out and they're not having fun and they're not enjoying this anymore. And they're wondering, is this really the business for me anymore? And a lot of times it's not the business that was going into it with a bad plan or no plan, just fumbling their way through it. So with that being said, we'd love to see you. We have a topic today, though. Matt and I have been watching the marketplaces. We've been seeing things going on. I've been watching people. It's not everywhere. I have some people in the back of my head right now that would not fall in this category, but the majority are saying, I've got a lot of buyers right now. I've got a lot of people out here. And gosh, if interest rates would just come down just a little bit, you know, they're going to want to make that move. I just was talking to an agent that I coach up in Seattle, and the comment was made in the office, which is, man, when interest rates drop here, we're going to see a tsunami of business come through the marketplace. And I think it's interesting, Matt, because sometimes we can get confused on what really caused people to buy and what really causes people to move. And yes, I know there's affordability and all kinds of things that people look at and go, this is what's stopping them from maybe being able to move in some of these marketplaces. But in my 20 plus years of doing this and my 20 plus years of working with people, my personal buying and selling of real estate, it's never been an interest rate that's made me go, oh, interest rate dropped. Hey, kids, let's all get in the car. We're all going to go look at homes because interest rate just dropped. It's not the number one factor. There's so many other pieces underlying here that I think we need to take a look at.
It's amazing, too, when you think about the interest rate and the time of year, right? Because at the time of recording this, there is downward pressure on interest rates. And it's not just because of the Fed funds rate, because that happened last year and interest rates went up. But there is downward pressure for a multitude of reasons. That said, it's also the holidays, right? And so when people are like, oh, if interest rates drop, all of a sudden, all these buyers are going to come into the market. And I will say, if the only motivation for buyers to come into the marketplace is financial, this isn't the time of the year that they're going to all of a sudden just be like, hey, it's Christmas time. Let's buy a house. Right? It's not typically what's going to happen. Could it get somebody who has a real life change, maybe over the lip, so to speak, to have the ability to purchase a home that they're looking for? Yes. And I think what's great is it's actually opens up opportunity to have conversations, because in this time of year, as we go over and we turn the calendar over, it's always a great time to buy. It's always a great time to sell. So let's just kind of add that out there first. However, the urgency tends to be a little bit higher during this time of year if sellers are on the market and if buyers are looking to buy. So if you can pair a life change and there's some financial benefit, fantastic. But that's just a factor. It's not a reason. The finance is a factor, not a reason. And I think if we keep on putting it at the forefront, Garrett, we are actually just going to confuse our own business, and we're going to miss the opportunities to truly help people.
Well, and this is where we need to go back and really define, like, okay, so what are the driving factors that make people want to buy or sell? And yeah, there are things that make it easier maybe to buy or sell. There are things that release some constraints on the person that's trying to buy or sell. But at the end of the day, it is somebody trying to solve for pain in their life, and they've got a life change that's going on. And Matt, this is a little side note here, so I don't want to derail us completely down this route, but this goes back to another thing we were talking about before we hit record, which is all the expired listings that are popping through the pipelines right now. And I'm watching agents go, look at all this business here. Like, oh my gosh, it's like an untapped resource. Look at all this great stuff. And it's like, well, hold on. What were they trying to accomplish by being sellers in the marketplace right now? Were they basically going, hey, we see the tip of the marketplace and let's see if we can sell, and we're going to see if we can push that price up and get that price? And everybody goes, you sold for what? Like, whoa, look at you. Are they going for that? Bragging rights for their friends? Or do they really have a place they need to go to right now and a change they need to make? And is this house not the right home for them? And I'm seeing a lot of expired listings come out of this marketplace right now that they're not real sellers, just as a lot of people that we hold on to and our buyers are not real buyers. They might be saying or showing some symptoms of it, but I always go back to what is the underlying causes that are going on to them, which means we need to do some detective work up front. Anybody we're working with right now, Matt, we need to be taking a lot more time on that front side of the business and saying, hey, I need to ask you some questions. And then you as a business owner get to decide, am I truly working with a seller or am I truly working with a buyer? But it's not an interest rate driven thing. That's not the reason you should be going, I should pour into my database right now.
Well, and if you can test this, you could test the theory if you really wanted to, because arguably if interest rates drop, like, are buyers just going to like come out of the woodwork? You've never known this person. All of a sudden, someone's just going to walk in your office and be like, hey, Garrett, I don't know you, but I am thinking about buying a house because I saw interest rates tick down 0.25%. Let's do it. And you're like, awesome, Jerry, let's do it. So if you want to test this, because there are plenty of people out there. I mean, I talk to my agents about it, Garrett. I know you talk to your agents about it. When they have listings that are sitting around, it's like, hey, go talk to your lenders. See if there's opportunity for the seller to offer some buy down incentives, particularly if they're competing against new construction, because a lot of new construction builders have access to lower interest rate mortgages because they can pre-purchase a lot of these things and whatnot. So you get this competition on an interest rate, right? So you can test it by going out and finding, like, has anybody offering, some type of concession to buy down an interest rate, let's say from 6.5 to 5.5 or something like that, whatever it is. You can just put out an email to your entire database saying, hey, I found a property that has a interest rate of X. Would you be interested if you could get a property at that interest rate? And see who responds. It's probably only going to be anybody who is actually in the marketplace. Like, you can literally test this theory, or just poll your audience. Be like, hey guys, we're just thinking ahead and all that kind of stuff. What interest rate would get you curious about making a move? I'm not suggesting that you guys actually do this, but if you wanted to test it, you could literally go and put those questions out there and see what people say. It's only going to be anecdotal, and the idea of interest rate drops creating a enormous wave of buyers is based on macroeconomics, which I totally understand, but it also needs to be a significant enough movement to really get that. Like, yeah, if interest rates dropped down into the threes, there would be a lot of people that'd be like, oh my gosh, refinances would explode, buyers would explode, because that's a huge drop. But interest rates aren't moving like that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And we watched it with the FHFA HPI report, the house price index. If anybody goes and checks that out, you can watch it. You can see where interest rates were on the lower side, and we were basically, it caused an incredible amount of appreciation, by the way. So there's factors in this, by the way, too, that when you suggest these lower interest rates, and this is a great thing, because all of a sudden it's going to make things more affordable. At the end of the day, it doesn't make things more affordable. It drives a marketplace to actually find equilibrium, and all of a sudden it's unaffordable again. And then we're like, man, all we need is the interest rates to drop again to make it more affordable. No, it just keeps pushing it into a crazy place. But what's interesting is when we saw the interest rates go, Matt, from 3 to 7, we did see it stop the appreciation for a second and things dropped. Yeah. And then it was crazy because all of a sudden the sellers entered the marketplace again who needed to sell, who it wasn't about an interest rate. And they were like, well, I still need to buy a house for my family, and I like that house over there, and I'm willing to pay a little bit more than everybody else for it because it's a really cool home. It really fits our needs. And they still you still watch this appreciation rate go up.
Well, also, what do you think is going to happen if you flood a marketplace with more demand? Do you think prices are going to stay the same, or do you think they're going to go up?
Yeah.
If you, what do you think is going to happen to the equity opportunity for someone? I mean, and at the same time, this gets into the, and realtors use this type of marketing all the time, which I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's good awareness. I think you can do better at kind of explaining the back end. But I saw a post the other day. Someone said, hey, while you've been waiting for interest rates to go down, home prices have gone up about $20,000. So while you were hoping to save 0.25% or 0.3% or 0.5% on your interest rate, you just lost $20,000 in equity. And okay, fine. On a macro scale, that makes sense. But you got to also bring that down, because there is the 110 rule with loans as well.
Yeah.
You know, a 1% adjustment in interest rate adjusts your buying power in the opposite direction by about 10% on average. So that means if interest rates drop 1%, you increase your buying power by about 10%, everything else being equal. Now, that also assumes that you can come up with that extra down payment required to keep the, extra 10% bump, because that would be another 2% in down payment that you would need as well, right? On something like that. So anyway, you guys can run the math. I'm sure you could just go chat GPT it or whatnot, but all of those factors need to be considered. And again, it is a factor, right? So Garrett, this gets back to like, how do you find a real buyer? Well, we need to find people who have life changes, who have life desires, who are making life choices. That is what drives someone to buy or sell a home, not, oh my gosh, all of a sudden the money factor works. Well, I guess we don't really need to buy, but maybe we should.
Well, and what caused this episode today was that conversation of when I hear people start saying, when interest rates drop, we're going to have a tsunami of business. And the problem with that is, and what can happen with that type of conversation is you have everybody then go, okay, so we're waiting now then for an interest rate drop. That's what we're going to do for our business. That's the conversations we start having with our clients out here. And we start saying, hey, man, when interest rates drop, we're going to start to see a lot of movement in the marketplace and things are going to change. We talk to our sellers about that. Hey, we're kind of stuck here until interest rates drop. We start having these conversations that do not cause you to go, how do we figure out where we're at right now and where you want to go? Which those conversations can only really happen with the people that you're going, oh, you're not happy you're in your current environment and you have a place that you want to go to. There's a life change that's causing that to happen. And so everything has got to come down to this root of what it is that's really making this need start to happen out here. And we're not taking the time to find that. We're just sitting here and saying, well, what are the outside influences that are going to create the marketplace that are going to make me successful right now? Don't put your future in the hands of what ifs might happen out here. That is not a good business decision. Take a look at your business and say, how can I help the people that need my help right now? And I have never found a marketplace ever in my time of doing this, Matt, and I got a lot of years under my belt now, never found one where life changes aren't happening. Ever. The interest rates could be 18% and someone's going to die. There will be people getting married. There will be divorces happening. There's going to be people that are getting married and the spouse is saying, I will never live in the house that your ex-wife was in with you. And I know that you got a great interest rate and all this stuff on that house. I'm not living in that house. That will happen. And those people are going to sell that house and they're going to buy another one. People are going to have kids. These things don't stop. This is just general society. Stop looking for outside influences. You have to look at your people and see if you can help guide them through it. And I just think I'm hearing too much of the what ifs could happen out here, and we just need to take ownership of it.
Yeah, we do. And there's a, maybe we can get this put in the show notes. If for some reason it's not there, just reach out to us. I'll shoot you the link. There's a great article in Yahoo Finance about interest rates versus home prices versus affordability. And they actually go through and break down there a lot better than I was able to explain. What are the differences if you wait and home prices change, and that means your down payment changes, or you now have to pay private mortgage insurance, which comes at an expense as well. And how do all those dynamics actually factor into the monthly payment, which is really what the buyers are thinking about when it comes to interest, right? And so this also gets into a whole nother topic, which we'll explore later on, which is how do you converse with buyers and sellers about what is truly the bottom line for you when it comes to buying and selling a house. Everybody gets fixated on price when there's so much more that goes into it, because there's net cash out from a buyer perspective. There's the monthly payment that they have. And from a seller's perspective, they have the net cash in. What are they going to get as a result from this after all fees and expenses, taxes, and other things are also paid for this? And so I think this is why when you look at the money, there's so many different elements that come in that if we focus on life change, Garrett, and also life choice, a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to focus on the big things, because you're right. People are going to, get divorced. There's going to be marriages. There's going to be kids. There's also just going to be people who go, you know what? I want to live in a house by the river, or I want to go over here. I want to move to another state, right? People are going to have desires and they're going to act on them and they're going to figure it out, because if people are moving from house to house, a lot of the times they are already accepting that they're going to pay more for the next one, right? Rarely do people move down from a money factor unless they're downsizing, which actually is an awesome opportunity all the time as well, particularly if you just look at generational kind of just where people are at, right? Baby boomers are a very large generation, right? No offense to y'all, but they're old. A lot of people might be looking to downsize from their homes into smaller homes, into 55 plus communities, which are being developed so like rapidly right now, particularly across the Southeast and the Southwest of the country. Right. And so there's opportunities all over the place, but you can't get it, Garrett, unless you have conversations. If you're so focused on, oh, I'm just going to wait for interest rates or whatever this, then you're missing out on the conversations, because you have the agents that are sitting around the office going, well, we're just waiting for interest rates to go. And then you have the agents that are out there talking to their people. They're doing business. They're like, oh yeah, interest rates coming down would be great. And then they just go off and do more business. Yes, it would be great if interest rates come down, for sure. Don't bank on it. Don't wait for it.
If I could put a big hope for like what I see and what I'm watching out here right now, then I would be like, let's see if we can keep this going right now. I would love it if interest rates just stayed right where they're at right now. Just hang out 6-7%, just kind of roll along this way. And what if the rates just happen to stay like this for a while, where it's not people being driven into the marketplace because of opportunity costs and basically wins that they might perceive in the marketplace, but they're actually doing it because they have life changes that need them to make changes in their life. And then the change that then happens that allows them to buy up or make changes as they save down payment. And by saving down payment, this is where I grew up with real estate in my brain. When I bought my first house, when I bought my second house, I was never sitting around having a conversation of, if that interest rate comes down, we can afford to be buyers right now. The conversation that we had, and I remember very clearly sitting around the table with our realtor, was saying, okay, how much down payment do you have? You currently qualify for this home right now. This is the price range that you're in. Is there a way to bring more down payment to the table? And we had to get creative and we had to talk about that. And there was a while there where Sarah and I said, we are going to live really, really, really on the efficient scale, because we're going to be taking as much money as we can, putting it into an account that's going to be our down payment, that's going to allow us to buy up into that neighborhood. Because we bought our first home in Seattle. Seattle, I love Seattle. It's an amazing area. It is crazy expensive. What it takes to be able, especially to get into, that's where I bought my first house, was in Seattle. That was a lot to try to figure out, to scrape together that much down payment to even to be able to be a homeowner. And we bought on the cheap side. I look back and I'm like, I should have never sold that house. Like, that home was dynamic with what it's done over that time frame. But again, if interest rates just stayed the same, and we brought it back to life changes that were causing people to buy or sell, and the piece that they had to bring into the table was, do I have enough down payment to be able to afford that house, or do I need to save more? That's a really healthy marketplace. Anytime there's outside dynamics, outside influences, of switches that are being flicked, things that are being changed, that are waiting for us there so that we go, okay, now I feel safe, now I can go and do that. We just did it. I kept looking at the marketplace, Matt, for the last 5 years going, this is the most unhealthy situation I have ever seen in real estate. And at some point, something's going to have to break here. And I don't want to see us go back into that position again.
No. And you know, the way you explain that is interesting, because it would be great if we just had clarity. Like, if everything just stayed stable, right? If we just knew that prices and interest rates were going to stay in this like stable range. It's going to kind of like go up and down just a little bit, but it's just going to stay in this range for the next 5 years. It would be much easier to make decisions. And this goes into just clarity, right? Everybody is a lot more able to make great decisions for themselves when they have clarity on what's going on. And we don't want to throw confusion in the mix. Now, that would be great if we could do that, right? We know it's not going to happen. And so I think this goes on to, go listen to last week's episode or the last episode that we did on educating and being the first to share, because I think one of the best things that you can do, if you think that the money factor is playing a big role in your sphere thinking about buying or selling homes, the best thing that you can do then is go partner with a financial advisor, a financial coach, and then just start having the conversation with your people about good overall financial management. Because Garrett, what you just said is much more of a financial management conversation that you and Sarah went through versus like, hey, let's just wait for interest rates to come down because we think that this payment and all that other stuff, when there's so many other things that you can move around to make a home purchase work if you need it to. And that's where I think you'll find more buyers. If money's truly holding them back, then let's get that conversation going. Partner up with a financial advisor, financial coach, and educate your people on great financial management.
I know a lot of realtors right now putting together a lot of business, and they are not waiting around or educating their people on when the interest rates drop. They are trying to get, now again, they can only get creative with them and they can only have these conversations when they find the person that's trying to solve for pain.
Yep.
That's the only time you can do it. So I'm going to encourage everybody out here right now. You want to get really good at skills, reach into your best tools you have of being able to say, I'm going to communicate with my people. I'm going to figure out where they're at. I'm going to learn about the things that they're trying to make better in their life. And when I find those areas that I can help them through real estate to be able to improve upon that, let's get creative around that. Then let's start talking about what are all the pieces that we have in our fingertips to get you guys to where you want to go. Those are really successful working relationships. The expired listings that are coming out right now that we're just hoping to maybe hit the top of the marketplace, be really careful with those. Some of those people don't need to sell. You can waste a lot of time and a lot of energy. And there's a lot of buyers out here right now that we can sit around, Matt, with our pockets full of all these buyers, I guess, that we say we have. And a lot of them are not real buyers. They're talking about being a buyer. If the interest rates were to drop, we might be a buyer. And they're just not real buyers. And you're spending a lot of time with the wrong people, thinking that you're being busy and thinking that you're working really hard every single day. Be careful. Pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah. So I would say, Garrett, to pull this all together, it is, you have a tremendous opportunity, particularly going into the holiday season, to have conversations with your sphere, to understand and listen for change. The holiday season, I find people are more comfortable talking about change because they're thinking about the future. They're thinking about next year. What are our plans for next year? What do we want to do? They're starting to think about, gosh, Johnny is going to be graduating high school in May. Or Sally's going to be moving into kindergarten next August, right? People are starting to think about things and have those conversations, and you can find a lot of life changes that are coming out that may not be like immediate, but you can start to put people on your life change list so that throughout the year you can have better conversations, understand, show up with education, show up with value, so that when they then say, hey, you know what, I think we want to move to another school district so that Sally has the best opportunity to get into this high school or whatever, then you can say, great, hey, let's go and talk about that. Let's go evaluate your home. Let's see what's out there and what you guys might want to do.
And that's the trick, Matt. It's not immediate. You just said it's not immediate. And I think that that's the piece that a lot of us need to understand is that it's not about going and have a conversation with somebody, hearing about a life change, going, oh, this is a right now piece of business. No, you put that on the hopper, and what you do is you stay in better flow with them, you stay in connection with them, figuring out what they need right now. And then what happens is you end up being that agent where people are going, why do they have so much business right now? Like, what is going on for them? Well, they've been putting in the work, they've been putting in the time and the energy and the effort to build these incredible relationships with these people. And yes, it just drops business out of it because you're helping people at that point in time instead of just looking for that quick, that's potential right there, and running to it, which is it's a place we get into a lot. That again, it's where the most stress comes out of this business is the people that are rushing from one thing to the other. Slow down.
Yep.
It's not immediate. It's these great relationships.
Yeah. So show up, guys, this holiday season with great conversations, with understanding life changes and everything. And if interest rates come down, bonus, right?
Bonus.
Fantastic. You get that little extra icing on the cake. You have more opportunity for more people, but just watch out what happens when that demand starts to push against the available inventory, because inventory won't move as fast as demand when that happens. So Well, Garrett, I think that was that. Thank you for bringing this topic to the table. This was your topic, and I think this is always a great topic. We can't talk about this enough because these are one of those things where when you repeat this thing over time, of just really understanding what makes a really great buyer, your business just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and you start to avoid these distractions of like, oh, look, this shift in the marketplace is all of a sudden the next opportunity. If you're going to the next opportunity, the next thing, then you're never stuck on the one thing that really works for you. And we want you guys to get rooted in that. And that's what happens when you build a great business plan, Garrett. So if you guys go to 10tense.co/GPS, you can get our on-demand business planning workshop and build your GPS for 2026. Align it with your life that you want to build, that you want to live, and your core values. And if you complete that workshop and submit your business plan to us, you get to join us for our exclusive quarterly calibration mastermind that we will run each quarter throughout 2026 so that you can stay on track with your plan and achieve the success that you want to achieve. So all of you, Garrett, I love our audience. We got great people. We appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. And if there's anything we can do for you, just reach out to us. We're here to serve. So appreciate you guys. Garrett, thanks, man.
Appreciate you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks, Matt.